With the creation of the Seagull Confederation and its now housing of an entire species, things for the seagulls were actually going pretty well. Technology was continuing to accelerate and had a spike when the gulls stole a bunch of human tech, giving them access to warships, crossbows, plate mail armor, and siege weapons. You know, stuff that's typically used to destroy, well, stuff. All of this happening just in time for the political climate in the Seagull Confederation to begin splitting. A group of gulls who called themselves the Seagull Superiority Congress wanted to create what they thought would be a perfect world, one in which seagulls reigned supreme. To achieve this, they believed that their only competitors, humanity, would have to either be subjugated, enslaved, or completely destroyed. The majority of the Seagull Confederation, however, believed that this suggestion was abominable, and that the SSC shouldn't have any more influence, fearing that they could make this plan a reality. Being denied political power, the SSC decided to take matters into their own hands. Or wings, for that. The lead council and a large group of SSC supporters defected from the Confederation, turning the SSC from just a political party into its own independent nation, with the sole purpose of obliterating humanity. Of course, they would have to get through the Seagull Confederation first. The Seagull Confederation themselves didn't take too kindly to this, and threatened war if the SSC didn't return to the Confederation immediately. Believing this was a bluff, the SSC promptly rejected the demands, and one paper signing later, the Seagull Civil War began. The war began with the SSC attacking a Confederate naval port in an attempt to block supplies to a coastal city surprisingly inhabited by humans, believing that they could divert Confederate troops from their current positions at Featherstead, the Confederation's current capital. If it could be captured, the Confederation would surrender. They were right. The Confederate troops rushed to aid the humans, leaving only a small garrison at Featherstead when the SSC struck, beginning the First Battle of Featherstead. It was tight, but the Confederates held the city, recalling their troops from the human island to begin a counterattack against the SSC fortress Fryer. Should this be taken, the Confederation could potentially defeat the SSC by simply bombarding their primary operations center. The battle began with the Confederates using trebuchets to expose the garrison troops and giving their assault troops an opening. It was only a partial success, and the Confederates suffered many casualties in securing the fortress. The victory made many believe the war would end shortly within the SSC's surrender. However, the SSC still had a card to play. Lieutenant Colonel of the Seagull Confederation had been paid off by the SSC in order to find a route to Featherstead and force the Confederates into a quick surrender. The Confederates had no idea about this espionage and commenced their bombardment using ballistas. The SSC took their chance and began their attack on Featherstead. They began to attack with battering rams, breaching the gate and alerting Confederate troops, who had begun a counterattack. Both sides entered into a brutal melee fight, with many gulls losing their lives or being severely injured. Catapults flung rocks indiscriminately into the city, causing massive collateral damage. The defenders, who had began running out of troops against the SSC's unrelenting attack, ran into town and handed out swords, spears, and crossbows, saying, "Run at the enemy, and try not to die." This worked, and the SSC, knowing they could no longer win, surrendered all their forces, with Colonel fleeing, left to an unknown fate. The Seagull Confederation was victorious. With the war over, the Confederation decided to move its capital from Featherstead to the relatively new city across a small sea called Saltensgrad, since it was more protected from future wars. Thanks for watching. This was part 1, of course, and you should definitely watch the other Seagull lore videos. And you should also press the funny red button below the video. Wait a minute, what do you mean it's not red anymore? Subscribe for Barry.